My name is Samantha. I'm going to tell you how all this really began.
No time for intros, let's get right into this. In the beginning, it said Northern France 1918-01, which will be our baseline. After that, we got an image of this map, and I managed to spot Verdun on it, so we'll also be around that area. However, in the next frames, it shows Maxis looking very elderly, and his voice didn't match him at all. In Black Ops 2, he should be a lot older than he is here in 1918 in Origins. It just seems like he isn't the right age for this time. The only plausible explanation for this is either time travel, time manipulation, or multiple dimensions that we'll also be going over later. So this is our first clue to the dimension collisions. Here we have them going in the tomb, and then again the markings. We now have a view on Shinonuma, and this is the element 115 that looks completely different from the first version we're used to, because in Origins it's blue and it has those same markings in the tomb, and here in the first version it just looks like this, but there's still those purple sparks. The real zombies team was actually told not to touch this last map at all and let the single player team handle it, because they messed up their own storyline enough that this indicates that they're either trying to fix things and change it up, or if this is actually referring to a time interference, and for our sake, hopefully it's the latter. Now here we see Germany using the element 115 in the war. Soldiers are working, nothing too different. But now in this scene where he's mining the wall, the gas masks, the guns the other soldiers are using, and their outfit is not World War I era technology, but in fact World War II. These are World War II German soldiers working, and no, I didn't say that wrong. There are literally World War II soldiers in a World War I time frame. So this is exactly why I was questioning the gas masks the whole time, because in World War I it was just basically a cloth strapped around your face, and in here they were more sophisticated, so I was like, okay, maybe they just decided to use that, but it turns out they are World War II soldiers instead. Then we get the scene with the medieval zombie like I went over yesterday, and he has the purple eyes. So like with the World War II soldiers, they're out of place with the time frame because he looks like a knight, maybe even a Templar, which I'll point out later, and you can see the 115 blue orbs in the background. Next scene, the soldiers are running for their lives, and pause here. Do we just see an early version of a swastika? And now it's basically the soldiers versus the knights, and if you look on that one to the right, he actually has a cross. So they're indeed Templar knights, and they still have their purple eyes, and they're just like completely overrunning the soldiers, and their weapons are just useless. Now in this scene, the soldiers reanimate with orange eyes and look like the zombies in the previous trailers that will be on this map. And also the purple-eyed Templars didn't leave with the orange-eyed German soldiers, so what if they're protecting something? Something in the tomb that the Templars would protect back from the medieval times. The element 115 wasn't found until like many centuries later, but what if, again, time travel causes to disrupt the timeline? So the zombies continue through, and again the soldiers didn't even leave a scratch on them, and the zombies spread and multiply. Fast forward, and here's the old crew presumably meeting for the first time. And if you just look at the way they're looking at each other and pointing with their guns, they obviously know they're not zombies and they're on the same side, but it's just that pause, as if they met each other before, but they didn't really, maybe some sort of like deja vu, the effect of changing the timeline on them. Now here's Richtofen's scene. He just looks and raises his hand in complete amazement, as if he didn't know what just happened. He could have switched bodies from someone or been affected by the time change, but of course, none of them knew what happened except some sort of weird feeling. He was a doctor, he would experiment on people all the time, so there's no reason for him to be confused because of the work he was doing. So it's definitely not the surgery he was performing or whatever he was doing. And then of course, after that scene, Samantha's back, which should not be possible at all, because even if she was born, she would only be like a couple months old, and her dad looks way too old to be fertile to have a child, and the only thing to explain this is simply time manipulation. She says, "I'm gonna tell you how this really began," and they decided to include that at the end instead of the beginning. A huge hint that what we just saw in the trailer isn't how things were originally. Everything is just out of place and a complete wreck, most likely and hopefully intentionally for the sake of the storyline. And don't forget about the giant and how it was teleported from Duries too. We have the giant here back in time as well as other things that were misplaced. So this most likely could have been Maxis's work, and he could have just traveled himself, which is why he looks like Santa Claus in this, and why Samantha is inside the giant. Those are the only reasonable explanations we have as of now. Last thing I want to mention is that origins can either be the initial spread of the zombies and how they were founded, as well as the old crew meeting for the first time, but in reality, this was just a twisted multiple dimension collision, and we'll just have to wait and see what in the world is going on in here. But anyway guys, honestly, my mind was completely blown the first time I watched this, but please drop a like for my stance and theory of this time interference and origins, and comment down below on what you think everything means, and honestly, like anything I may have missed, but origins is going to be absolutely amazing, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.